Hi everyone. In this video, you are going to answer the question, how can you solve 2-by-1 multiplication problems using the standard algorithm? Now before, in the last video, what you learned is you learned how to solve a problem just like this using partial products. Okay? But today, we'll put a little bit of a twist on it here. Erase all that stuff for you here. And we're going to solve it the way that maybe many of your families at home learn to solve these types of multiplication problems. So kind of watch along, pause if you need to kind of catch up on some of the steps. But I'll begin with this first model problem, which is 32 multiplied by 4. So what I'm going to first start to do here is I'm going to look at the 4 down here, and I'm going to be multiplying it by the 2 up here. And just to keep track of my steps, I'm going to be multiplying. I'll show my multiplication. 4 multiplied by 2 is 8. Okay? Now it's similar to partial products where we're multiplying the ones place times the ones place, but look closely here. I'm going to write 8. And I'm done with that step. I'm done with that part of the problem. But now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be multiplying 4 times 3. And I will keep track of my steps. Whoop, there we go. Right here, I'll be multiplying 4 times 3 equals 12. I'm going to go ahead and put my 12 right here, lining it up, being very neat, taking my time. And that's how you solve a 2-by-1 multiplication problem without regrouping. The next problem that we'll solve is going to require a little bit of regrouping. The regrouping is very similar to how you've regrouped when you've added. Okay? So for this problem, I'll give you 63 multiplied by 4. Okay? So the same steps, the same process, but now we have to regroup some places. So now I'll go ahead, same thing, I'm going to keep track of my steps, and I will multiply 4 times 3. So I'll go ahead and I'll write down 4 multiplied by 3, and that equals 12. But now, similar to addition, I'm going to put the 2 in my 12 right here. And I'm going to place a 10, right, that's shown by this 1 up here, okay, right above the 6. Now, my next step is a little bit tricky, so you got to make sure you take your time. And please ignore that voice in the back of your head that says, you need to rush. All right? So, I'm now going to go ahead and I'm going to take 4 multiplied by 6 and add a 1. So I'm going to go 4 multiplied by 6 plus 1. Now, what you remember from 3rd grade is I'm going to put parentheses around this 4 times 6. And the reason I'm putting the parentheses around the 4 times 6 is so I remember to do that first, okay? Because that will change my answer if I don't. Okay? And I know that 4 multiplied by 6 is 24, and if I add a 1, that's 25. So I'll put my answer similar to the first problem right here, 25. So 63 multiplied by 4 is 252. Okay? So now what I'd like to do is to give you a couple of problems to practice on your own. Remember, you're going to use the organizer that I had given you in class, and you'll use the spaces that say practice problems 2, 3, and 4. Okay? So for your first practice problem, you'll solve one that doesn't require you to regroup, and that will be 14 multiplied by 2. Sorry, the phone's ringing. Just ignore the phone. The second problem you're going to solve is going to require you to regroup. And we'll go ahead and we'll multiply 27 times 5. Okay. And the third practice problem that you'll be doing today, make the 3 right there, make that a little bit easier for you all to read. The third practice problem you're going to complete, okay, will be a little bit of a tricky one. okay? But let's see what you can do, all right? And a little bit of a challenge problem here, but we're going to make it a 3 by 1 multiplication problem. Let's try 124 multiplied by 3. Okay. So in this video, go back to the first one, you learn to answer the question, how can you solve 2 by 1 multiplication problems using the standard algorithm?